Well, hello there. It's time for my Sunday vlog. I've chosen this little spot here because I used to stop here when I came cycling. Just along there, I might just show you in a minute, take you for a walk. Just along there is a tiny little stream. It's actually a drain. When the fields, the rain comes off the fields, it goes down into that little drain and joins up with some bigger ones. Eventually, it goes past the back of my mother-in-law's house, and it goes on down to, I think it's King George Dock, one of the big docks with a lock gate to it. So it's a tidal lock. So most traffic, they open the lock fully when it's at high tide to let crafts in and out, but then otherwise you have to go in. If you want to go in at different times, you then have to book a time, and they open the lock gates and let you in without emptying the lock. Anyway, that's me rambling on. Well, it was such a lovely day yesterday. I really miss going out. I should have gone out, but what with this foot and everything, it really is. I'm getting quite depressed. Really, I'm getting now that I'm on half pay. I'm down £1,000 a month, probably because I wasn't off sick until the 10th of January when I first went off sick. So they've probably taken that into account. So next month I'll be down even more. So I'm going to have to watch what I spend my money on. So it's going to be difficult, I think. You know, I have got some insurance that will help contribute towards my living expenses, and the union will help with some of those expenses, which is one of the good things. I never really liked unions. But we were having a pay negotiations, and I really had to join a union to get myself heard, because I used to be in a union called the Nautilus, which was absolutely rubbish. Nautilus. Let me go and get my walking sticks. I'm feeling a bit unsteady. Oh. Yeah, Nautilus. They were really rubbish. We put forward our ideas for pay negotiations, and they never negotiated on our behalf at all. They simply said, the company knows best, just do what the company says. And that was the end of it. You know, what can you do when you've got a union that does that? But this union, one I've got with now, is much more membership orientated. They actually listen to what you say, and they actually put forward our suggestions, for a pay negotiation. And it was really a breath of fresh air dealing with this. Yeah, I know they're lefty and they support the Labour government, but what I've heard in the pipeline is they're beginning to withdraw their support for Labour, which means that they know that Labour's doing wrong. Anyway, that's for another video. Will Starmer be around on Monday, or will he have gone? I've heard that his wife's moved out at number 10, which is quite alarming, really, that she should do that. The other thing is that I think that Rubberface Miliband is going to try and take over. He said he's not, but he will. Anyway, that's for another video. Get back to the vlog. My foot is I'm getting so fed up with it now, so depressed with it, not feeling. I just want to put on a normal pair of shoes and walk normally for a bit. I know it's not going to happen, not for a long time, But like I said, when I had the toe dressed on Monday, I took a photo, and then when I had the toe dressed on Thursday, it looked so much better. My toe looks like the wound is beginning to heal up now. which is what I want really. I want to get back to being normal. I know I'm not going to be able. It is a life-changing thing that happened to me. It's what can I do? There's nothing. I fell asleep and it happened while I was asleep. I didn't feel it because I can't feel my feet. That's one of the dangers of diabetic. Being diabetic, you can't feel your feet, your extremities. I don't think, when I finally got diagnosed in the year 2000, I think I had been diabetic for a good 10 years before that, but hadn't been diagnosed. Even though I'd been to see ship's medical doctors and all that kind of stuff. And it probably was exacerbated by the fact that I injured my knee on board ship when I worked for P&O Containers. I injured my knee just before we merged with Ned Lloyd. That was a long time ago. That was year 2000, or 1999. Oh, I've got a phone call. Hang on, I'll come back to you in a minute. Wow, that was Sarah. She was worried about me. She normally sends me text messages in the afternoon or morning when she's at work just to see how I am, and I didn't answer because I was out here. So she got worried. So I don't normally get phone calls. I think I was saying when I first injured my knee was 2000, and that's when they found out I was diabetic, and it was probably, like I say, a good 10 years before that I was actually was diabetic, but it never got picked up. But I did have all these ENG1 medicals that never picked it up. Anyway, I think being at sea doesn't help at all with being ill, or have something like a knee injury, like this back injury that I had in August. It was August 23rd. I slipped in the bathroom. Yeah, I know. You would have expected an experienced seafarer to have taken some form of action to prevent slipping and falling. Well, I did. I grabbed hold of the handrail. I knew that it was rough, and I was likely to, I didn't want to go for a burden because I'm a bit allergic to pain when it comes to things like that. So I gripped hold of the handrail and turned to put my hand onto the sink. And as I did so, I then stepped forward out of the shower, and that's when I slipped. When you let go of one hand and grab hold of something else, and then when you put your foot down, I went for it. I did have 3 points of contact at one point, one hand on the handrail and one hand on the sink and one foot on the floor. But it was foot in the wrong place at the wrong time as the ship was rolling, and bam, that was it. Absolute agony. And when I went to work in the morning, which is a struggle to get down, to be honest, I managed to talk to the chief engineer, ran away and got me some really strong painkillers that he has, and they actually helped my back had gone into spasm, and given me sort of, I couldn't really sit down or stand up. I couldn't do anything. I just felt so bad. Anyway, these painkillers actually made it a little bit easier. It reduced the spasming from the muscles in my back, and it enabled me to relax a bit, so I could actually sit down and start to become pain-free. But yeah, anyway. Right, so I've probably gone on too long. So I'll try and catch you during the week, actually. I want to get out and do a bit more of this drone flying lark. I've got this one here. This is a DJI Flip. It's really tiny, and as you probably know, you've seen it before, it folds out. But it is, well, if you've got large pockets, it will go in your pocket, and you don't need a controller. You can pick it up and fly it. Just with this, you can use your hands as hand gestures. You can get it to follow you, like you saw with the Mini 2, not the Mini 2, the Neo 2. You can do the hand gestures and it will follow you. It will follow you in front or to the side or to the rear, and it will do all the other droning shots as well as doing the dolly zoom effect, which I quite like. Yeah, so I must get out and do a bit more. But it's getting motivated, getting out in the morning. That's the trouble. It's really, really difficult. Anyway, so probably, let me see what the... Yeah, I know I probably rambled on for more than 8 minutes. And as normal, I won't put in the midterm adverts. Should really say that at the start, shouldn't I? That if I go over 8 minutes, I won't put in the midterm adverts. Yeah, that's not going to earn me any pennies if I do that. But it's I don't feel it's it's not costing me anything. But the drone flight, if I go over 8 minutes with the drone flight, then that's fair enough, I believe, because it's cost me money to buy this in the first place. Yeah, DJI is putting out lots of stuff. Interestingly enough, now the DJI Neo 2 is really cheap now. It's 200 quid, I think it is, and it'll be a good idea to get a battery, a second battery, or even a third battery, and a charging hub, because otherwise you have to charge it in the model, and that might just take ages if you've got 2 or 3 batteries. Yeah, it's really cheap these days, and if you've got a bit of a garden, go and get one. They're so much fun, But like I say, it's at the moment I'm suffering from an awful depression. As I say, the beast has taken over. Anyway, so rambled on. I'll try and get the big drone out in a minute when I can calm down a bit from flying this one. The adrenaline is still running. I'll try and get the big one out and see what that's like. Anyway, catch you all on the next one. Bye then.